Okay, I think for mentors, the most important opportunity is not just to provide training and insight for your mentees in terms of how they accomplish individual research recognition and to do well on their own individual investigator-driven research, but to start working with your trainees, your mentees very early on and shepherd them into collaborative research at the same time. Recognizing that every institution has a different balance of necessities for individual pursuit versus collaborative pursuit, but that no one should be left until post-tenure to first be guided about engaging in collaborative processes. So I think that's probably most important for mentors. And if a mentor, him or herself, isn't familiar, find other resources for the mentee to be able to go and gather that insight so that they can be thinking about how they move their career forward, both for their individual research program and for collaborative research efforts. The other thing I think that mentors collectively can do is recognize that they have some power in helping set institutional policy. I think it's really critical that every institution within its appointment, promotion, and tenure policy, its codified policy, have language that explicitly speaks about support for faculty in their endeavors of interdisciplinary research, of collaborative research, and of team science, and talks about how individuals are recognized for that. It will be very hard for pre-tenure people to make that argument for themselves, but for more senior mentors as a collective to do for their mentees at the organization, that will be better. Help to overcome some of the barriers and the conservative nature of how our hierarchical organizations work in this sense. So I think that's something else that mentors can do. And then I think the last thing that mentors can do is they themselves can become better leaders for team and collaborative kinds of research. They are very used to being in a mentor-mentee role where it's still hierarchical, it's not a collaborative relationship necessarily. And so how can they serve as better leaders that makes them better role models for more junior colleagues to be able to look up to and to see how work is done. So they should themselves, if they haven't been participating in research centers, haven't been leading collaborative work, to improve those leadership skills. And one mostly never needs to look further than his or her own school of business. And you're very fortunate here at University of Michigan and MICHR to have access to an outstanding business school and faculty and executive education programs. And I encourage mentors to take advantage of that professional development training. Yeah, so I think for mentees, one is that mentees should be asking not just about their individual research programs, but asking, how do I begin to engage productively in collaborative research in a way that isn't going to get me in trouble, that I'll still get tenured? And to ask the questions, and they should ask very early on, what are the rules? What is the promotion tenure standards here at this institution? And if it's not clear to them, they need to go and ask, and they need to keep asking all the way up until they get this answer. So that they have a very clear understanding of what is required of them. And to have conversations then with mentors and with department chairs on what is it that I need to do, and more frequently than the required check-ins for the promotion schedule. Also, to be getting out there an awful lot. And it's hard. This is a balance, and a lot of early career faculty are also balancing work-life issues and have families and small children. But to take advantage and ask the question, are there resources available to help with the child care while I'm gone? What conferences should I present at that will have the greatest influence, not just in my own field, for me to develop a disciplinary reputation, but where can I go to be recognized by a much broader, more diverse group of interdisciplinary colleagues who can one day end up being letter writers for me as well? We spend a lot of time focused on these disciplinary conferences because they make the greatest sense for us to do. They're ones we've been part of, the professional organizations. Mentees need to be asking, where else should I look to? I think it's also important for mentees at any level to have an advisory committee. So it's okay to have a main mentor or a main PI for whom you work, or somebody who's been assigned to you. You're a new faculty member, you've got a more senior mentor. But you should really have a small group. Graduate students are used to this. So graduate students have a thesis committee or a dissertation committee. And I advise postdoctoral fellows and clinical fellows and early career faculty and even mid-career faculty to develop your own advisory council so that you have different perspectives and you can learn from different people. And the same thing for teams. So engage with folks. You can have somebody who's going to be a great mentor for you, who's going to help you along, and they're in your same discipline. but then pick somebody who is the director of a major research center here at the institution, completely outside of your field perhaps, but what they can help offer as part of your advisory council is an introduction to collaborative research and how to engage in interdisciplinary research, how to identify funding mechanisms that'll support that kind of endeavor. And it's a good balance. So don't rely on only one mentor to teach you everything that you need to know. Look for different mentors to help, but most especially find somebody who can help you gain a strong foothold in interdisciplinary research and team science.